Hello everyone, Fred here. In this installment of TPP Dynamite, I'm going to be talking about just why a hypothetical fight between Omni-Man from Invincible and Homelander from The Boys is not even a close call. First things first though, if you haven't already, let me encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I post film, book, and TV series reviews. I do opinion pieces on entertainment, news, and affairs. I'm also an author of adult and young adult mystery novels. I recently released a new short mystery called The Intruder. There's a link to it in my video description below, and I encourage you to check it out as well. With that in mind and without further ado, I'm going to just jump right into it. So I was inspired to make this video in light of the fact that Invincible Season 3 has just begun airing as of last week, which has naturally led to a resurgence of fan speculation by people who enjoy both Invincible and Amazon Prime's other anti-superhero show, The Boys, about who would win a hypothetical fight between Invincible's Omni-Man and The Boys' Homelander. And I know that those fan animation videos exist to speculate on who'd win that fight. I know there's the possibility for fans to play out that fight in the Mortal Kombat games also. I know that Invincible's creator even discussed that fight with the producers of The Boys TV show, who conceded that Omni-Man would win easily. And I've seen that fan art by the Invincible artist who drew an outcome featuring Omni-Man's bisecting Homelander and saying that his heat vision tickles. Nevertheless, I just thought it would be fun to do my own little opinion video on who I personally think would win a hypothetical fight between Omni-Man and Homelander. And I will start off by dropping the disclaimer that I'm talking for the purposes of this video about a hypothetical fight between Homelander from The Boys TV show, not the comics, and Omni-Man from the Invincible TV show, not the comics. And I'm talking about a fight between the two of them only in light of the canon of both those shows, Invincible and The Boys, as depicted on Amazon Prime. But with that said, I'm going to stop beating around the bush and just admit that I think Omni-Man wins this fight hands down, probably without even having to try that hard. It's not even close in that Homelander does not stand a chance. Why? Because of the main difference between The Boys' Homelander and Invincible's Omni-Man. Namely the fact that Homelander is a big fish in a small pond on The Boys, where Omni-Man is a basking shark in the Pacific Ocean in Invincible. It's the same logic behind why the prettiest girl from my 300-person high school would lose a beauty contest to Miss World or Miss Universe every last time. Or the captain from my 300-person high school's soccer team would not be able to keep up with Cristiano Ronaldo. Basically, Homelander's biggest advantage is that there are not that many overwhelmingly powerful supes in the universe of The Boys, and that Homelander is probably the closest there is to reaching that category, with possibly Soldier Boy, Stormfront, Queen Maeve, and Sam falling right behind him in that exact order. Homelander's second biggest advantage is that even though there are some other supes who could possibly present a challenge to him, none of them has his same range of abilities that under the circumstances would be very useful. For instance, Soldier Boy or Stormfront or Queen Maeve or Sam might be able to challenge him in the strength department, and Soldier Boy in the virtual indestructibility department, and Stormfront in the flight department. But Homelander could easily just spam his flight and lasers on Soldier Boy and Queen Maeve and Sam, or just his lasers at full intensity on Stormfront like Ryan did at the end of Season 2 when he nearly killed her with one blast. The baby from The Boys or that one kid from Gen V could give Homelander a challenge in the lasers department, but Homelander could easily just spam his flight or strength on them. Black Noir 2 could give Homelander a challenge in the flight department, but Homelander could just spam his strength and lasers on him. Homelander is effectively the school bully who gets by on the fact that he's just naturally the tallest kid in his high school and was held back 2 years by his parents, but that's it. Homelander was raised in a lab. He's got no formal combat training. Almost every major accomplishment that he has made in the universe of The Boys was, like for almost every soup in the universe of The Boys, embellished by Vought American to make him seem bigger and generally more skilled to the public than he is. Besides which, the Homelander of The Boys is psychologically an infant. He is easy to manipulate, easy to provoke, fast to make rash decisions based on emotion. Essentially, if he were ever placed into a situation in which the only way out was by outthinking his opponent or winning based on skill, if he were ever challenged on equal terms by either a physical match or a superior who was capable of countering or enduring the abilities he'd usually spam in order to get an advantage, he would be dead meat. And that's where Omni-Man comes in. Omni-Man, as presented in Invincible, is already arguably stronger, more durable, and more so virtually indestructible than Homelander, just going by a comparison of the feats we've seen depicted of both those characters in their shows. Omni-Man, as depicted, has hand-to-hand combat experience that far exceeds that of Homelander, who is, as depicted in The Boys TV show, pretty much just a basic brawler with very limited martial arts capability. Omni-Man, as depicted, also seems to be quite a bit faster than Homelander, especially when he's either flying or just levitating in the air. Homelander in The Boys TV show doesn't even have that handy sonic scream from the comics that would otherwise allow him a slight advantage over Omni-Man in being able to destabilize him via Viltrumite's inner ear weakness. And those three factors would already make Omni-Man a serious threat for a character like Homelander, in that Homelander wouldn't just be able to spam his powers like flight or lasers to cheat and end the fight with Omni-Man without having to exert himself and without having to strategize. However, Omni-Man is also a formally trained and conditioned soldier with thousands of years of experience conquering entire planets, plenty of which challenged him by producing beings or weapons or even entire armies that presented serious physical challenges to him. He comes from a race of beings whose literal lives revolve around combat training and readiness, and he also has substantial experience in fighting beings of his same caliber, in that he's fought and killed equally powerful members of his own kind before, and was implied to be a survivor of the Viltrumite Purge, during which every being on his planet killed each other in no-holds-barred combat until only the strongest, most skilled, and all-around best remained. He is not easy to manipulate. He is not easy to provoke into rash actions. He is willing to play long games to get goals. And he is generally conditioned to fight from a position of strategy versus basic feelings. He is highly specialized in outmaneuvering and outthinking opponents who are his physical match or even his physical superior. So yeah, in the end, Homelander is basically an emotionally unstable man-child who can spam his powers on a world that has not produced anyone capable of matching him. Omni-Man is basically a seasoned soldier strong enough to fight Homelander hand-to-hand on equal terms, durable enough to take his punches and laser blasts, fast enough to match him in the air, skilled enough to outmaneuver him, and mentally stable enough to outthink him. And that's why Omni-Man versus Homelander isn't even close to being a close call. Basically, if Omni-Man and Homelander ever fought, Omni-Man would probably take Homelander's literal head off in a few seconds, or maybe feed him his own heart like in that scene from the very solid Death Battle episode predicting how this fight would end, or break his neck like that scene from the Mortal Kombat game. But as always, that's just my opinion. Time for you to share yours. Sound off in the comments below to tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Are your feelings more complex? Meanwhile, if you liked this video and made it this far, don't forget to leave a like, click subscribe, ring that bell, and hey, follow me on social media as well. So long.